So my plan is to give a review video of remote viewing after 19 months of practicing. This video is to try and explain things, trying to explain the differences between what I used to do and what happens now. Just to give some insight on either progress or differences since then. I don't know if other people experience the same expressions that I do, so in this kind of moment right now, I've got a bit of a disclaimer. I've only been doing this for 19 months. I have no idea what I'm talking about other than what I experience. I don't have a great knowledge of RV knowledge, remote viewing knowledge at all. And basically, to give you some context, I've only really done the tedious RV YouTube videos, which are 7 in a lot, and the basic course that Laurie Williams and Intuitive Specialists do. I've only done those, and I've done lots of practice targets, and that's it. So when I'm explaining these things, they'll be from my own experiences. I don't expect anybody else to have the same experiences as me. I don't know. I'm very much alone in this journey so far, and just discovering things as I go, which I'm loving. I'm absolutely enjoying this journey, remote viewing journey, so much. And so with that, I'm going to go through some different topics, and I'm just going to elaborate a little bit on each of those topics, and hopefully you'll be able to get an understanding of what's changed from when I first started to what I did now, or what I do now, or what I feel now. So take my advice or my words with a pinch of salt, and only use it to maybe compare to your own experiences. I don't know how good someone is supposed to be or bad someone is, but I don't think it exists, you know. It's the connection to whatever, the great connection. And that's basically it. So on that note, my disclaimer is don't listen to me. Just listen to what I have to say and see if anything tends to ring a bell for you. Good. All right, so let's do this. So first on my list is my processes. So to give you a bit of history, TDS RV 19 months ago, and then a couple of months later I found Intuitive Specialists, CRV.com. Basically, what I didn't pick up an understanding in the TDS RV, CRV basically joined the dots. I found Laurie's videos absolutely awesome, and she clarified lots of stuff. She even probably helped the TDS RV a lot in that sense as well. What I didn't get clear from the TDS RV stuff, Laurie covered those gaps, and if it didn't, then I'm just discovering it as I go. And that's it. And that's the history of mine, and basically all of Laurie's practice targets, and I've gone off to other sites to do practice targets as well. So yeah, so that's basically my history. I've got them in my playlist, so go and have a look and start your journey, or at least get familiar with the methodology, so you can understand what I'm saying when I explain through these videos. All right, so let's go through. So that's my history. First topic on the board, admin page. Admin page, awesome. I think it would solve a lot of mental health issues with a lot of people, just with the admin page. We've got the target, we've got the intent, we've got the date and time, we've got emotional state, we've got physical state, and then we've got some labels to say if we're blind or blind to the target, and any other sort of flavors of factors that you might think might factor in the session. So what I wanted to point out was the main thing with the admin page for me that I love is the emotional state and the set aside. I think Lynn and Laurie call it a set aside, and I'm unsure what TDS call it, but they also say describe your emotional distractions currently at that moment in time. And I remember Prue saying, if you hate that woman, you write it down. So, and that basically is what Laurie and Lynn says as well. Just whatever is in, which is worrying you or taking up a lot of brain cycles in your head with like being a distraction, write it all down in emotional state. When I do that, and I do my sessions, those emotional distractions sort of turn invisible. Not totally invisible. It's sort of like, you know they're there, but they're see-through. Like if I were to explain it, they're like, and the painting or this window was a view to the RV world, and your distraction was a painting. That painting would turn translucent, like it turns see-through. You know it's still there, but you can see all the elements behind it, and you can still pick them up and everything. So that's what the set-aside does. But on top of that, when you write your emotions, that's expressive writing. So if you're having stress and dealing with stress at work, at home, and all that sort of stuff, to relieve you of a lot of that stress, they advise you to write down your stress on a piece of paper. And that's what I equate that set-aside motion is. Put your stresses on the paper, acknowledge them, and say what you're going to do to deal with them. It's sort of like you've acknowledged it and you've dealt with it in the same sort of brush stroke, in that same process, because you have to put the description down of what the problem is. Then you put it like what am I going to do about it when my session finishes? And so you explain yourself, this is what I'm going to do afterwards, and boom, it goes poof, it disappears. Not disappears, it turns invisible. It no longer affects your session. So that's what I love about the admin page. Couldn't rave enough about it. The other part of the admin page which I do, which is the transit line and the doodle, which is part of the TDS stuff, I think, is I do my doodles on the paper, and by the time I finish doing my doodle, all the world's thoughts, all my thoughts that were centralized around anything have all gone. The way I explain this is, when I do my doodles, it's like a free-flowing doodle, and then I start copying things and doing stuff in it. Everything else starts shutting off, like my senses about thoughts about all sorts of stuff start going away, and all my attention or awareness just seems to be concentrating on filling in the drawing. So the thoughts in my head, by the time I've finished my drawing, it's like colouring in this little bit, gone, boom. There's no other thoughts. It's ready for RV time. You know, you sort of de-escalated all your thoughts and your emotions and everything down to a single point, because it takes a little while to fill out that drawing or to do that drawing. I'll show some pictures up anyway. And by the time you've engrossed yourself in the drawing and you've just sort of focused on that drawing, all the other thoughts sort of disappear and go away. And by the time you finish that drawing, you're ready for RV, because all those thoughts and other thoughts have gone. You know, they're not distracting you anymore. So that's what I love about the admin page.